System. The human design system is a synthesis of global information, of global systems both ancient and modern. And through this synthesis we have an accurate way of detailing the nature of what you are as a mechanism. In other words, the basic mechanics of how you function in the Maya.
One of my jokes with people when they come for an analysis is that I always tell them I have a magic pill for them. They get very excited. They really think I'm going to give them something mystical. I tell them to go sit in a public place where they can be private. You see, mechanics is all about circuitry, and circuitry can be taken advantage of. If you're somebody that needs to be hooked up, you can go into a public place and hook all that up.
So this is a paradox. You say for people to be able to make sound decisions about private matters,
yes,
it's sometimes good to go in a place where there is a lot of energy.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
And what you're basically saying is that the energy of other people help them to be whole,
sure,
to be complete, and thereby make a better judgment.
For example, you have a couple, and the couple and they're designed together, they don't activate the throat center, and the throat center is where we communicate. So it's a couple that has difficulty in being able to articulate with each other. So what usually happens in their lives is that every time they get invited to a dinner party, the moment they sit down with all their friends hook up their throats, and they start screaming at each other and have their fights in public. So whenever I get couples like that, and I tell them that, of course they're very embarrassed, and they say, yes, that's true. And then when I tell them to do, look, you know, if you're having problems with each other, go into a cafe, a restaurant, whatever you like, sit down with each other with that aura all around you. You get the activation of that throat. You can have your whole business out, and you can communicate with each other. Take advantage of the mechanics.
Coming back to what people are influenced by. So you say they're influenced by the people around them, but you also say they're influenced by what the stars and the planets, and what you say the neutrino fields that really surround us all the time.
Well, the most important aspect of the human design system is that it's rooted in physics, and good physics, and it was way ahead of its time. When the voice, in my experience, told me about neutrinos bearing mass, there was no such thing as that time. There was mild speculation about such things, but there was no proof of that. It still has yet to dawn on the world community what that significantly means. I know of scientists in the United States particularly who are already theorizing about the nature of the neutrino stream, and that it may be in fact the consciousness stream everybody's sort of looking for. I've been telling people that for 9 years. The nature of the neutrino field, the fact that we're being penetrated by all of this material, that it is material. Obviously we're all in a program. In order to take you through design, I have to take you through some basic information first. The first thing is the physics. According to the biologists, the physicists, sometimes about 12 billion to 15 billion years ago, an event took place that they call the Big Bang. And at the moment that this event took place, two families of objects were created, a yin family and a yang family. And this yin family is made up of what physicists call quarks. And they came together in two groups of two, and they formed the nucleus of what we call an atom. And on the other side, the energy side, was this family called the leptons. And there were 6 of these, 3 kinds that are electrons and 3 kinds that are neutrinos. Most people know the electron. The electron came together with the neutron and the proton, and it formed the atom. And everything that you can imagine, the birds and the bees and the trees and you and me, were all atomic in nature, and there's a joke in all of that. That is the % of the mass of the universe, 10% of everything you can imagine, all the stars, all the galaxies. It's only 10% of what the mass of the totality is. 90% of the material of the universe, they call it dark material, up until very recently was something that they had no information about. All of us are within the same field of information. That's very important for us as a global community.
When you say here, field of information, you mean field of potential information?
No. Field of information, specifically information. What did Joni Mitchell sing at Woodstock? We are stardust. You know, every single one of the stars in the sky, and the sun is the closest one to us. The sun is giving us 70% of our neutrino information.
In a very holographic view of the universe, you say in each of us and in each neutrino, the whole information of the whole universe is contained.
In 1987, there was a supernova, the first one that was visual with the naked eye in modern recorded history. It was seen first in Chile. It was called 1987A. And when this star died, what a nova is, because of the nature of the explosion, it released a stream of neutrino information. Normally, we receive 3 trillion neutrinos a second over a square centimeter of space.
And in the 17 minutes that followed the death of this star, we received 9 trillion neutrinos a second. From a mystical point of view, if you like, or just simply from a visionary point of view, to recognize that this old star, when it died, it gave all of us its last bits of information. All of us, all of us. It's a wonderful thing. The most beautiful thing for me in physics is the recognition that the neutrino stream that penetrates through me not only changes me, but I change it, just as you do, just as we all do. And that's a very beautiful idea, because remember, that neutrino stream, as it moves through me and is changed by me, goes back out into the universe in every direction at near the speed of light. I've been in the world now 47 years, and in my 47 years, I've touched stars in a diameter, in a huge circle around our planet in all kinds of directions for over 40 light years in distance. I've touched thousands of stars in the sky with the nature of what it is to be me. All of us do that. It's a magnificent thing.
Is there a deep underlying message that says, all I want, or I am part, and influencing everything around me?
What I teach, what I was taught, what I was told in my experience is that the whole universe is an evolving entity, a single entity. It is not born yet. We are still on the inside. I give you something publicly that is way ahead of its time. Way ahead of its time. 9 years ago, in my experience with the voice, I was told that there are stars in the universe that are older than the universe. And I thought, now that's cute. We've always been on the inside, since the beginning. We have never been on the outside. Everything is on the inside. And there are things that were here on the inside before all of this started.
Inside. You mean inside our brain?
No, the universe is inside of something. And inside of that, what is a cosmic womb, the Hopi Indians know that there's an umbilical cord in space that goes to the mother. We are part of an evolving entity that is not born yet, like a fetus. And what I was told is that the solar cell that we live in, the sun and the planets around us, that we are the core of the evolving consciousness of this entity, not its personality, its form consciousness. We are the great measurers of things. We have to live in these vehicles and fight gravity and measure everything, how big it is, how long it is, like we're trying to figure out the nature of the universe now. And one of the things that scientists are discovering now is that there are stars in the universe that are older than the universe, and it's making them very uncomfortable because it doesn't fit into their theories, and they don't know what to do. And they're going to discover, just as I was 8 years ahead of them, that neutrinos have mass. They're also going to discover that, yes, indeed, there are stars in the universe that are older than the universe, and please understand what that will mean. That will change the cosmology of the way in which we look at the universe. We are inside evolving. We do not know the outside. Think of the child inside of the womb of its mother. It does not know what made it. I do not know the name of God. It does not know who made it. It does not know what world it belongs to. We do not know. We do not know what we are. Humanity is deeply, deeply ignorant. What worked for me was that if I had to go out into the world and tell people that a voice talked to me and here's my authority comes from the voice, I would never, ever, 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 ever do that. Human design system is logical. And from the beginning, I've told every audience I've ever talked to, don't believe me, don't trust me, see it for yourself. This is self-knowledge. It has nothing in the end to do with the nature of whether I'm good at it or not good at it, or the right person or the wrong person, or a holy man or whatever.
So the human design system is simple enough for a person after he has got some knowledge about it to tell about himself and how he is influenced by people around him and by the stars and the planets.
The most important thing is that a human being gets to see what they can rely on and where they're conditioned. This is the most important thing in life. This is the basic duality of a human being. What you can rely on, you've never relied on in your life. What you can't trust, you've been trying to trust all your life. This is the joke. So what we do with people is we say to them, now look, please understand, what you've been trusting has never been you. What you've been ignoring has always been you. Try to trust what's really you and see what happens.